No One Sleeps in the Woods Tonight is a new Netflix Polish slasher movie about a camp for technology addicted teens where they get rid of their cell phones and they have to just camp out in the woods and learn to do other things besides go on Twitter and shit. So they go there, they give them their cell phones, their tablets, and they get taught skills, how to survive in the forest, and blah blah blah. And meanwhile, you got two deformed hillbilly slashers taking them out one by one. Now, I have more problems with this movie than good things, but let's talk about the good things about this movie. I think it looks good. It has a decent, slick look to it. Got some beautiful aerial shots. It looks nice, although that could be a problem for some people if you want that more gritty, dirty, like dark look to your movie. This one's a very shiny, bright, colorful looking movie. It looks good. But yeah, that could be a bad thing for some people. I do like a little bit more darkness to my horror movie, and this one's very bright for the most part. And then even when it's nighttime, and like the one scene that it is nighttime, it's overly lit. Like the world's most brightest moon is in this movie, where it's so bright where you're like questioning why they have flashlights and stuff. Like, you don't need it. You can see the whole forest. Even though it's night, you can see everything. So that kind of bugged me. But yeah, the movie, it looks good. Decent production value to it. I like the whole premise. The whole like throwback to 80s slashers. Put them in the woods. Camp setting. I like that premise here, and the fact that they're taking their cell phones away. I like that whole explanation, the way it's written in here, why they're all without cell phones and why they can't call for help. It eliminates that problem that most people, that us slasher fans have with more modern movies, where we're questioning the whole time, like, why aren't they calling for help? It doesn't make sense. Oh, that person, their phone just died when it was convenient. Which ironically does happen in this movie at one point. Even though all the characters have no cell phones, there's one character at one point later on that does have a cell phone, and it dies at the wrong moment. So that trope is in here. There's a lot of tropes in this movie. Another thing is, besides the whole throwback 80s thing, which it's overdone, but I like that. Besides that, I also like some of the kills in here. And the gore is really good. There's a lot of aftermath gore. There's a couple of cutaway kills, but there's some decent aftermath. The effects, even on the killers, despite me not liking the way they look, I think the makeup on them is decent. And so yeah, there's some gory kills in here. Not a whole lot on screen, but just like aftermath stuff is pretty gory. But that's like mixed for me, like, because two of these kills, despite how gory or creative they might seem, they're complete rip-offs from other movies that they're obviously inspired by. There's a Wrong Turn 2 kill in here, and there's a Friday the 13th kill in here, and when you see it, you'll know which sequel it's from. As soon as it happens, you're like, oh, I know that kill. I know exactly where they got that from. Yeah, it's just like you couldn't come up with your own kills, really. So it's like at the same time, I like the kills, but I don't like them for ripping off other movies. It's like, come up with, like, every kill in this movie, I can point to a different movie. Like, there's even another one that's like Wrong Turn 3, but from the other angle. So it's just not a whole lot of creativity here, but like I said, some decent gore. And they throw in the one gratuitous scene, that sex scene that just comes out of nowhere. Like, there's no connection between these two people at all. And then I guess she's just the bimbo slut who just has sex with this guy she just met. But I'm okay with it because we get to see her tits. So it checks that box for a slasher. There's some good nudity in here. Not a whole lot, just the one scene. But when you're watching a slasher movie, that's what we want. We want the gore, high body count, and some nudity. And it does give you that. So could have had some more, but at least we get some of it. The final girl in this movie, despite me not really caring for her all that much, they try really hard to like make you sympathize with her by showing you like some of her backstory, what happened to her when she was a kid. blah blah blah. Doesn't really do much for the story going forward. Like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you could have cut all that shit out and it would have done anything. But despite me not really caring for her, I like how she is when she's like attacking the bad guys. Like, she's not Laurie Strode. She doesn't hit him in a non-lethal spot. She doesn't like stab him in the shoulder or some shit. No, she goes for the heart. She goes for places where you should go for when you're stabbing somebody. And she doesn't just stop after like one poke. No, she stabs again, 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 and she'll run over their asses again, again, again. So she's a badass final girl. So yeah, I just wish it would have been better written and more interesting. So yeah, those are the little good things about the movie. Bad things. This isn't the movie's fault, but I have to throw it in here because I don't care for subtitled foreign films. I can watch some now and again, but I prefer to watch movies where I don't have to read the whole movie. So this is a foreign film. It's Polish, so you're going to have to read the whole film. So that's a bit of a little negative. It's not the film's fault, but I'm just pointing it out in case you're somebody who doesn't like foreign films. Maybe there's a dubbed version, but I didn't see that option. So, but yeah, the pacing, like when they first get to the camp, all the way to like the first kill, and it takes a while to get going. I was getting kind of bored because I wasn't digging the characters. There's not really a single character in the movie I gave a shit about. So it was kind of dragging a little bit in the beginning for me. And the music overall, I was not a fan of it, especially like during that sex scene. Oh God, like shoot me now. And the looks of the killers, was not a fan of them. It's basically, again, rip-offs of other movies. Like, you could point to like Madman Mars with a little bit of deformed Hills Have Eyes remake look. Like, it's like those put together, like an overweight, obese Victor Crowley mutant mixed with Madman Mars put together. It's just all these different looks put together, and it doesn't look all that scary to me. It's just not unique or anything, and I just was not a fan of the look of the killers. And then there's a character who's basically Randy from Scream, and the whole Scream meta, style of writing horror movies nowadays since Scream, it's just tiresome. I'm getting sick of it. I'm sick of every horror movie slasher today trying to emulate Scream, where they have to throw in that character who knows all the rules, and the character in this movie literally goes over the rules. He has like 6 of them instead of like 3 like Randy. He goes through them. He keeps referencing horror movies like American Werewolf in London and this movie, that movie. Like, oh, we shouldn't split up. Stop it. Just stop it. Like, I get you're a throwback to 80s slashers. You're paying homage. And you just... But stop. All right? Stop doing the meta shit. I'm sick of it. All right? That's why I love Hatchet so much. Like, the Hatchet movies, they're 80s throwback movies, but they're not sitting there screaming all this meta bullshit the whole time. You know, like, oh, this is like that one movie. And they don't talk about other horror movies in Hatchet. All right? Not that I remember. This one, you just got that character the whole movie. Just like, oh, this reminds me of this. And, oh, we shouldn't be doing this. It's like, you just want to... Like, he acts like he's such an expert on how to survive in a horror movie, but then he's the first moron when a killer's nearby, and they're trying to be, like, all sneaky and quiet. He's the loudest person on Earth. Like, is the killer over there? Does he see us? What's going on? It's like, shut the fuck up. He's just such an idiot. So, yeah, he was just pissing me off. There's so many tropes in the movie that pissed me off. Like, oh, new cars that just don't start no more because it's convenient. Get the fuck out of here. And then some really dumb, irritating decisions that make no sense at all. And then there's little things in the movie that are set up that go absolutely nowhere. One of them with this priest character. It's like, what was that for? Can anyone explain what the hell that was for? Just an inconvenience to this one character? Like, what the hell was up with that priest? And nothing surprised me in this movie. Nothing at all. There was like 2 or 3 supposed to be surprises, but I saw all of them coming. So, another thing that just pissed me off. And another thing that really irritated me, they pull like a Friday the 13th Part 2, but even worse, where they have all these characters like at the camp, and you think, oh my gosh, this could be like a big body count, and then it shrinks down to like 5 or 6 people when there was like 50. This could have been like a slash and kill, like every scene in the movie, like high body count film where it was just like kill, 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 kill. But no, we gotta focus on Group A and Group A only, just these 5 morons who you don't care about, and pick them off one by one in ways that aren't creative. They're just from other movies that are better. I know I'm getting more angry the more I talk about this movie. And it didn't really piss me off that much, but it's just not original. It's a throwback film, and it just has so many tropes in it. They shrink the body count down. They should have had more kills in here, got more creative with the kills, have more on-screen kills, not all this aftermath crap, and just have maybe one good character that I give a shit about. Just one. There's more bad things in here than good. So I can't recommend it, all right? It's on Netflix, it's free, but I can't recommend it unless you're just a hardcore slasher fan. Then maybe, but you're not going to see anything new here. It's paint-by-number slasher movie, and that whole origin story, I guess that's a little bit different, but it's the worst part of the movie for me. The whole origin reason about how and why they look the way they look, I could have done without that completely. Seriously, just fuck all that nonsense. Something like straight out of like Creepshow 2 or 1. The Geordie segment with Stephen King, they just took that aspect and put it here, except there's no itching. It's not a good origin story at all. I mean, there's more shit here I probably wrote down that I'm not talking about. That's really about it. So yeah, those are all my problems with the movie. Didn't love it, didn't like it, very meh. It has some decent gore, some kills in it, but rip-offs of other movies. Didn't like the killers. The movie looks good, but that's really about it. So those are my thoughts on Nobody Sleeps Tonight. What did you think about this movie? Put all your thoughts up in the comments below. I'm sure some of you thought I was too hard on it, but I just don't like it. All right? This is my honest opinion, and that's what you're always going to get from me, Mr. Hat. So those are my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Let's talk about it. And as always, if you like what you've seen, you can hit this like button and become a subscriber today just by clicking my cartoon face in about 5 seconds. And until next time, auf Wiedersehen.